welcome back to my channel. Thank you for watching and for subscribing. And if you're just visiting, please consider subscribing. So today is the final part in my year wrap-up series, and we're going to talk about my best discoveries of this year. I've certainly tried a lot of fragrances this year. I've sampled a lot, I purchased a lot, but there are some that really stood out. And these are the ones that I would like to share with you. The first one on my list is from a house that I discovered this year. This is from Juliette Mattnia, and this is called Nia. I can't even remember where I heard about this fragrance, how I got interested in it, but somehow I did, and I found it at a little local store that carried. They actually had one bottle, and I got it, and this has been a stunner of a fragrance. This fragrance is about dates. There's also pomegranate in here, there's palm leaf, and there is caramel in here, and it's a very sweet fragrance, but it still doesn't cross that border of being too sweet or being cloying. It is just enough sweet, but not overpowering. It is beautiful. You have these amazingly sweet, juicy dates, and they're drizzled with pomegranate juice and with caramel, and then you have palm leaf, which brings a touch of freshness to this fragrance, and I think this is what helps it not cross that too sweet border. It is just absolutely beautiful. It's kind of a masterpiece fragrance in my opinion, and if you ever have a chance to try this fragrance, for those of you that enjoy gourmands, because this is definitely a gourmand, I would strongly recommend trying this one. And something I forgot to mention at the beginning, that I will be featuring individual fragrances here, but I will also talk about some houses in general, fragrance houses in general, that I discovered this year and that I consider my best discoveries. And so next on my list, I want to mention an overall fragrance house, and this is the house of Kerosene. Now, I've heard about this house for a while, and the one fragrance that I really heard about was Unknown Pleasures, which is the one that I tried from this house first. And here it is right here. This is another outstanding gourmands, one of my best discoveries this year. This has vanilla, caramel, lemon, and it has a note of tea. So you really get this amazing smooth sweetness from caramel and vanilla. There is a touch of tea here, and it just feels to me like I'm drinking a cup of tea with condensed milk. This really what it feels like to me, and I have been enjoying this fragrance so much and so glad that I finally tried it after having it on my wish list for a very long time. The other Kerosene fragrance that I tried this year is Follow. This fragrance is about coffee. It has the note of roasted coffee beans. So the coffee in here is very strong, very powerful. It's like an espresso type of coffee, but there's also sweetness in here. We still have the vanilla, we have tonka, and we have maple sap. So as the fragrance dries down, these beautiful sweet notes are really starting to come out and kind of balance out the very strong coffee note. This is a wake me up kind of scent. This is a very strong coffee scent, so it's for those that really enjoy the strong aroma of coffee. This is not a fragrance that will appeal to everyone, but I absolutely love the freshly brewed coffee, the strong aroma of coffee. I absolutely love, and so this is another amazing winner from this house. And a little spoiler, I might have ordered another fragrance from this house that I will be featuring on my channel soon. Very interesting house. It has been an amazing discovery for me this year. Another interesting house that I discovered this year is Gallagher Fragrances. I did a whole dedicated video to this house, but here, instead of featuring the whole house, I really want to feature the standout fragrance for me from this house, a fragrance that I have been addicted to so much ever since I got it. This is Rosé All Day. This is, first of all, a beast of a fragrance. Amazing, amazing performance. Really one of the best in my collection. The lasting power, the projection, the sillage, everything is out of this world in this fragrance. But the most important thing that I fell in love with was, of course, the scent itself. And here we have apple crisp, we have brown sugar, rose, there's also honey in here, and so it's just beautifully kind of sour apple crisp mixed with honeyed rose. It's just an amazing combination of sweet and sour that I absolutely love. This is an incredible fragrance. Is it a safe blind buy? I would say no, because there's also a metal note in here that, you know, some can smell. Thankfully, I don't. For me, it's non-existent here, but I know that some of you do smell it. So I would definitely recommend trying this one before purchasing a full bottle. But for me, this definitely has been one of the best discoveries this year. Next, I have a fragrance from Atelier des Ors, which is also a house that I tried for the first time this year, and I now have 3 fragrances from this house, and I really enjoy all 3, but there's definitely a standout fragrance for me amongst these 3, and this is Rouge Surrey. This is another fragrance that features the note of dates. Clearly you can see that this is a note that I've really grown to love this year. I found quite a few fragrances featuring this note that I absolutely love. In addition to dates, we also have plums, vanilla, pearl balsam, cinnamon. And this is a fragrance that it is not as sweet as Nia from Juliette Mattnia, although it is still sweet. Definitely vanilla is here. When I first sprayed, I get more of a plum note with vanilla, and quickly the plums kind of go in the background, and I'm getting more of dates in here, and it is a little bit woody. So this is an amazing, amazing scent. Very addictive, incredibly addictive, and has become kind of an easy reach fragrance for me. Whenever I'm not sure about what to wear, I reach for this one, and it's a fragrance that always puts me in a good mood. And to me, and I know I've said that in the video before and some of you disagreed, please remember these are my opinions, but from the ones that I have tried, although I don't advocate blind buying, but if you have to do it, to me, this one is the safest blind buy from the ones that I tried from this house so far. Next, I have a fragrance from Guerlain, and this is Mon Exclusive. Now, this is the fragrance that I have been curious about for a while, but I kept debating, do I need it or do I not need it? Because I've already had Mon Guerlain, and from what I could see from the notes and from the reviews, these 2 fragrances are quite similar. And so I kept thinking, do I need this one? Do I not? And plus, it was not easy to find. And then finally, I saw it available on one of the sites, and I decided, okay, I've been so curious about it, I really need to try it, and I'm really glad that I did. Yes, it is very similar to Mon Guerlain. They're not terribly different. So do you need both? Well, it depends. For a regular person, probably not. For someone like me, like many of us here, yeah, you might need both. Although it is really similar, but I find that this one has an interesting addition of butter note, and it is quite evident because I find that Mon Exclusive is kind of more buttery, slightly smoother, slightly creamier version of Mon Guerlain. So not huge difference, but still enough of a difference for me to justify having both. And again, I'm really glad that I bit the bullet and I risked it, and I decided to get this one because it's a really beautiful, beautiful scent. Next, I want to talk about another house that I discovered this year that I absolutely fell in love with. This is the house of Wilhelm Perfumery, and I tried quite a few samples from this house, and there were two that really stood out to me from what I tried, and so I purchased full bottles of these. Of course, I have Mango Skin, and I also have Poets of Berlin. So Mango Skin, there are a lot of notes in this fragrance. They're, to me, absolutely irrelevant because this fragrance simply smells like mango, like juicy, freshly peeled mango. It's a very realistic type of scent to me, the best mango scent that I have tried, and this is really, really stunning. The other thing I want to mention is that I think this house has a very unique and different type of aesthetic. Clearly, yellow is the color, and just the shape of the bottles is very interesting and very different, I think, from everything else out there, and I definitely appreciate originality and creativity, and it just makes me more interested and more attracted to this house. The other one that I have from this house, as I mentioned, is Poets of Berlin, and this is another beautiful fragrance. It has blueberry, bamboo, vanilla, sandalwood, and it's a fragrance that starts out not being very sweet, and it becomes sweeter and sweeter as it develops, and really in a dry down, this smells like having a slightly melted vanilla ice cream, and it is covered with blueberries, and it is kind of drizzled with a bit of sugar on top. Very, very interesting fragrance, somewhat unique to my collection, and I really enjoyed this one as well. And again, this house has been a great discovery for me this year. Next, I have a fragrance from Gritty that I discovered. This is called Pomelo Sorrento. Again, a house that I haven't heard anyone really talk about, and let's start with a very unique bottle design, which again, I really appreciate creativity. So this is really, really interesting. So it is a tea fragrance, and as you know, I really enjoy tea scents, but I find that many of them are quite similar to one another, and this one to me was quite different because it features the notes of pomelo and grapefruit, which bring an interesting and different element to this green tea. There is also iris and vetiver in here, which are not as important to me. I don't smell them all that much. This is really this kind of sparkly green tea that is slightly sweet and slightly tart because it has grapefruit in it. It's just an amazing combination, and like I said, very different from the other green tea scents that I have tried. So I'm considering this a great discovery this year. Next great discovery on my list is from the house of Maison Dior, and this is a fragrance again that I've wanted to try for a very, very long time but had a hard time finding, and I finally found it this fall and have been really thrilled to have it in my collection. This is Fève Délicieuse. There are a lot of notes in this fragrance, but really at the end of the day, this to me, and I think to most, is a fragrance about tonka. So it is kind of sweet, it is kind of nutty, it is maybe a touch woody, a touch powdery, but really tonka is the main player in here. Very, very beautiful scent. I definitely understand why it is so highly regarded and why it is a favorite of so many. It is sweet, but to me, this is not a gourmand. This is just a beautifully sweet, sort of nutty type of scent. Very, very beautiful, and again, has been a great discovery this year. Another house that I tried this year was Penhaligon's, but more specifically Penhaligon's Portraits collection. I have tried other fragrances from this house previously, but Portraits collection is new to me this year, and I've tried quite a few samples from this collection. There are two full bottles that I purchased, and there is one that I would like to feature here, which is my favorite. And you might be surprised because it is not changing constant. It is actually Ruthless Countess Dorothea. This is kind of a late addition to this list because I purchased it about a month or month and a half ago, but I have been loving it so much and using it so much, and would definitely consider it as one of my best finds this year. There is something really special about this fragrance. There is cinnamon, beeswax, white wine, vanilla, bergamot, cashmeran, and these fragrances mixed together so beautifully. It is sweet, and it is a little spicy, and it is a little waxy, I think, from the beeswax, and it has a touch of kind of alcohol or boozy vibe, but it is very light, and it's just everything to get together works so beautifully. And what I also love is that performance on this one is better than in a few others that I have tried. So overall, I'm definitely considering it as a great find this year. And so we're left with only one best discovery of this year, and I had to finish it with another great house that I got to try this year. And I've tried many samples from this house. In fact, I think I've tried majority of them, not all, but really almost all of them. And I'm talking about the house of Maison Francis Kurkjian. There are quite a few that I liked and that I would like to add to my collection, but so far I have 2 full bottles. I have Amoureuse Femme, which was my first purchase, and then I have Grand Soir, which was added to my collection more recently. Grand Soir, I've talked about it already. I won't spend too much time on it. It's amber, it is benzoin, vanilla, tonka, and it's just an amazingly sweet, smooth kind of amber, very beautiful. It performs the best for me in the cold weather, and it's a scent that just blooms the longer it stays on the skin. Very beautiful scent, masterfully done. What I found with this house is that all the fragrances are just such high quality, and they're all blended together so beautifully. Just all the notes work together. It is less about individual notes, but it is more about the fragrance itself, the blend of all of these notes together. That has been my sort of opinion and my impression of this house, of all of the fragrances from this house, whether they're all my taste or not. Of course, not all of them are, but overall, all of them I found that were just beautifully put together. And of course, this one is one of the best, I think. And the other one that's really has been a love at first sniff was Amoureuse Femme. I absolutely love this fragrance. There's something so magic about it. It's very airy and light and kind of very fluid, but at the same time, you know, the scent is still present. There is lemon blossom, there is amorous, iris, musk, vetiver, orange, but as I already said, to me, these individual notes are really not that important. It's just a stunning fragrance. It is very liquid. To me, this is the best way to describe this fragrance. It is kind of liquid, and it is slightly sweet, slightly citrusy, slightly floral. There's a little bit of everything, but just put together masterfully and creates this amazing composition. And so this is the end of this video. These are my best discoveries of this year, and this also marks the conclusion of my year wrap-up series. I hope you watched all of the 4 videos in this series, and I definitely hope that you enjoyed them. And so this is going to be my last video of 2020. The next one will come out next year. And so before I finish this video, I just wanted to say thank you to all of you who have supported my channel from the beginning, to those who have joined recently, to everyone who watches my videos and comments and subscribes. I really appreciate all of your support and all of your interest in my channel. And of course, I hope that you will continue supporting me next year. And I want to wish all of you a great new year. I'm sure that even despite all the circumstances in the world right now, we can make the best of it, and hopefully next year will be better. I will see you all in 2021. Thank you again. Bye.